All right, hi everybody. We are now at the 1st of July shift 4 examination, and we'll be discussing all the GA questions, all the GS questions. Okay, so the zone separating the troposphere from the stratosphere is called. This is the question, and before talking about the question, I have a little information for you. Okay, I'll be discussing all the layers of the atmosphere. The atmosphere layers are the troposphere, being the closest to the Earth, troposphere, then stratosphere, then the mesosphere, the thermosphere, and in the end, the exosphere. Okay, so particularly with the gaps which are in the middle, like between the troposphere and the stratosphere, it is called tropopause. Tropopause, and the gap between the stratosphere and the mesosphere is called stratopause. So the answer over here is tropopause. You can read more about it under here. Okay, on the left hand side, please give a small reading to everything. The tropopause is a boundary of the Earth's atmosphere between the troposphere and the atmosphere. Okay, and it acts as a barrier and prevents the mixing of air between the troposphere and the stratosphere. You can read about it over here. Okay, so this stratomerge and tropomerge, these terms do not exist. Okay, these terms do not exist. Moving to the next question. Who wrote the Indian patriotic song Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara? So always remember this particular song, Sare Jahan Se Acha Hindustan Hamara. This song was not written by any of the three people, which are very much probable. You might be thinking it must be Rabindranath Tagore or even maybe Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. But the correct answer of this is Muhammad Iqbal. Okay, Rabindranath Tagore did not compose this song. Rather, he composed the song Jana Gana Mana, the uh, which is the national anthem of India. Okay, which is the national anthem of India. Also, this song was originally named Tarane Hind. Okay, the song was written in 1904 and it was originally named Tarane Hind. Moving to the next question. In which country is the Kachin Manav festival celebrated? Okay, again a factual question. If you know it, you know it. If you don't know it, you don't know it. The answer is Myanmar. Okay, the answer is Myanmar. You can read about it over here. The Kachimana festival is an important cultural event celebrated by the Kanchin people in Myanmar. Okay, you can read about it a little. Moving on. April 2023, the Maharashtra government has approved how much percentage of reservation for the Divyang employees in promotions? So the answer to this is again a very factual question. 4% is the answer. You may read a little about it from here. In April 2023, the Maharashtra government approved a specific reservation policy to aid the promotion of Divyang, which is differently abled employees. Okay, okay, and also the act is called the Rights of Persons with Disabilities 2016. Okay, act is also here. 2016. 4% Maharashtra. Maharashtra. Moving ahead. Um, Mayadhar Roth is an exponent of the Indian classical dance form of what? So again a very factual question. The answer is Odissi. You may read about him over here. He is a renowned Mayadhar Raut is a renowned classical Indian classical dancer, particularly famous for his contributions to the Odissi dance form. Okay, so you may read about it over here. Read about the other options over here. Okay, moving on. If there's a fall in the demand of a good, the equilibrium price is expected to. Okay, the equilibrium price. Equilibrium price. First of all, let's understand what equilibrium price means. Equilibrium price. Equilibrium price is created when the demand is stable. Okay, when the demand of a good is stable, and the demand is stable in the sense it is not seasonal, the demand doesn't fall, the demand doesn't rise, it remains fairly stable, then an equilibrium price is reached. The equilibrium price is between the seller and the buyer. Seller and the buyer. So the question here is, what is the fall? Sorry, if there is a fall in the demand of a good, the equilibrium price is expected to. uh, If something which was always available in the market is now still available, but people are not asking for it, then the sellers would have a surplus of the good, and they would be ready to sell it off for a cheaper price. So there would be a fall in the price. There would be a fall in the price. Okay, I hope you're able to understand what I'm talking about here. You may read the more factual points, the more strong things on the left hand side. In January 2023, Captain Shiva Chauhan was in news for being the first woman officer to be deployed at which battlefield? So, again, a very factual question. Siachen is the answer. Okay, the first woman to be deployed in Siachen Glacier, which is the world's highest battlefield, was Captain Shiva Chauhan. All right, moving on. Of the football clubs listed below, which is the oldest in India? Okay, uh, if you are a football follower, you would know that football finds its origins mostly in Calcutta, particularly for India, Calcutta. So there's a very famous football club also called Mohan Bagan football team, football club, Bagan football club. So in Calcutta, the Calcutta FC is one of the oldest football clubs in India. Even by having a little bit knowledge of football, you would be able to understand. Okay, you may be able to see whatever the significance, legacy, and historical background is. It was established in 1872. On 31st October 1940, who among the following was arrested for offering individual satyagraha to protest against the India's forced partition in Second World War? Okay, India was forced to participate in the Second World War because it was under the rule of Britishers that time. So Jawaharlal Nehru was arrested. Okay, Jawaharlal Nehru was arrested for offering an individual satyagraha, which was a non-violent protest against India's forced participation in the Second World War without the consent of Indian leaders. Okay, okay, and the protest was a part of the CDM, or the civil disobedience movement. Okay, and that's pretty much. If you wish to read a little more about it, you can see it over here. Okay, I'll move up as well. Please pause the video and read the description. Moving on, which of the following is not a domestic cricket tournament organized by the Board of Control for India? Okay, if you've read all the trophies which are given out, or all the clubs or domestic cricket tournaments which are organized in India, then you'll be able to understand that which one of them is not Indian. Okay, so Super Force particularly is not Indian because this is coming from the Asian Cricket Council. Okay, the Asian Cricket Council. You may read about it over here. This is not a very important question, and this is not something which you might be able to remember. So I would rather uh, suggest you to skip if you find this question in the exam, unless you can recall of whatever I have taught. Folk songs in Dash are called raginis. Raganis. Okay, so folk songs in Haryana are called raganis. Okay. Raganis are the traditional folk songs prevalent in the state of Haryana. These songs reflect various aspects of rural life, including love, valor, and daily activities. Okay, for UP, the different folk songs are uh, Kajri, Biraha, Chaiti, and for Bihar, the folk songs are Bhojpuri, Maithili, and Maghi. And for Madhya Pradesh, Bhil and Gond are the other genres of folk songs. Which of the following is more important to promote modernization and overall prosperity of a state? Okay, if there is stable export, that doesn't mean that all the money that is we've received from export is going to help us. So export is not a parameter for overall prosperity. Okay, I'm looking for overall prosperity. So export is not the answer. Employment, stable employment, yes, this is a definite answer. This is definitely correct. Let me check about others. Stable import is a short recipe of downfall of a country. Stable unemployment is definitely a short recipe for downfall of the country. So stable employment is the answer over here. You may read a little about it over here. Stable employment ensures a steady income for individuals, which leads to higher consumption and savings. Key components for economic growth. Moving on. Type of industries and name of company. You have to match the following from the left to the right. Okay, public sector company, private sector company, and joint sector company. So if you only know about one, let's assume that you only know about Tata Iron and Steel. So Tata is a privately owned company. Okay, privately owned company. So 2A, 2A is given only in one option. Then one would be B. Let me come back. One would be B. It means the public sector company would be Bharat Heavy Electricals, and three would be C. 3 would be C, and 3C would be joint sector is Oil India Limited is joint sector. You may read everything about it over here. Okay, there are three types of companies: public sector companies, private sector companies, and joint sector companies. Public sector companies are those where public owns, where the government owns a major portion. Okay, private sector is the company is owned and operated by private individuals, and there is no government intervention. And in joint sector, there's a partnership between the public and the private sector. As simple as that. Okay, so moving on. Symmetric encryption is also known as. See, symmetric encryption means whatever key, whatever key is used at the origin, key at origin is also equal to key at destination. Destination. Let's assume you have a small kid with you and you gave him a small slip. You gave him a small slip and the number 10 was written over there. And you asked the kid to go and give this slip to the shopkeeper. The shopkeeper. The shopkeeper saw the 10 slip and asked the boy, what does he need? And he says, 10 toffees. So, if you had asked for 10 toffees and told the boy that please bring only 10 toffees, then only you will be getting 10 toffees. And if the boy, instead of asking for toffees, if he says he needs 10 chocolates, which you never asked for, and he gets 10 chocolates, so the symmetry the symmetry is gone. So it is a conventional encryption. So I hope you understand. When the key was toffees over here. Okay, and the wrong key would have been, or an asymmetric encryption would have been, you told him to get toffees and he got chocolates instead. So when the key of the origin and the key of the destination is the same, it is called symmetric encryption. And conventional encryption is another name of symmetric encryption. Okay, my example was really rudimentary. It is very the very standard definitions and everything is written over here. Okay, moving on. Which of the following articles of the constitution deal with citizenship? I told you part 2 of the constitution deals with citizenship. And article, I'll just move ahead. Part 2 of the constitution deals with citizenship, and articles 5 to article 11 comes in citizenship, where we've already discussed. Article 11 says that the parliament is vested with the responsibility of regulating citizenship in India. We've already discussed this point. Okay, 5 to 11. Moving on. You may see all the other options which are coming in. Okay, from Article 5 till Article 11. They've written everything. Okay. 5 is for providing citizenship at the commencement of constitution. 6 is the citizenship for certain people who have migrated to India from Pakistan. 7 would be the citizenship of some certain migrants to Pakistan. 8 would cover citizenship of certain persons of Indian origin residing outside India. Article 9 would be persons with voluntary persons who are voluntarily acquiring citizenship of foreign state. Article 10 would address the continuance of the rights of citizenship. Article 11 would give the parliament the power to regulate the right of citizenship by law. Moving on. Which of the following article prohibits traffic in human beings and forced labor? Traffic in human beings and forced labor. Okay, now people think about it. Okay, so here the answer is Article 23. Okay, the Article 23 of the Indian Constitution unequivocally prohibits traffic in human beings and any form of forced labor. Okay, so this is again something which you need to remember, you need to recall by hook or by crook. Okay, Article 22 provides protection against arrest and detention in certain cases and ensures the right of individuals against arbitrary or unlawful detention. 25 is freedom of conscience and the right to freely process, practice, and propagate any religion. 28 is deals with the freedom as to attendance at a religious instruction or religious worship in certain educational institutions. You have to remember all of them. Mendel proposed the law of independent assortment on the basis of dihybrid crosses. This is again a conceptual thing. Gregor Mendel proposed the law of independent assortment based on his experiments with the dihybrid crosses involving two different traits. You remember when we were young, we read this. We read this that uh, trees are tall or short, and the peas are green and red. So there was an entire chart. There was an entire chart. Here it was written trees, tall, short, and here it was written peas, green, and red. And there was an entire chart that tall trees will have red peas and short trees will have green peas, and tall trees can have red peas as well. So it was a dihybrid cross between true genes that were observed traits. Okay, these were the observed traits. Moving on. Okay, who was the founder of Vikramshila Vidyalaya? So Dharampala is the answer. Again, this is something which you need to understand. Dharampala was one of the significant rulers of Pala dynasty, known for his contributions to education and Buddhism. Okay, Vikramshila university was founded by Dharampala during the Pala dynasty. These are the only 2 points which you need to remember. Dharampala, Dharampala, Vikramshila, and Pala dynasty. Moving ahead. Which technology is associated with providing high-speed wireless data transmission for mobile services? LTE, long-term evolution. Okay, it's a standard for wireless broadband communication for mobile devices and data terminals. Moving ahead, Mewar festival is celebrated during the festival of Udaipur. So, Gangor is a famous festival. Mewar festival is a significant cultural event in Mewar region of Rajasthan, particularly celebrated in Udaipur. So, this festival coincides with the Gangor festival, which is dedicated to Gauri, a manifestation of goddess Parvati. Okay, a manifestation of goddess Parvati. You may read all about it by pausing the video on the left hand side. In which event at the 2023 under 20 Asia Athletics Champion did Siddharth Chaudhary win a gold medal for India? So basically, just remember this: Siddharth Chaudhary won a gold in shot put. Won a gold in shot put. If you wish to read a little about it, about him, it's written over here. After independence, the Census Act was enacted in the year when? So this particular question is a very interesting question because of one reason. Okay, the reason is that among all the options, only one option is before 1950, and the first census was held in 1951. So the act would happen before, the act in the sense the law would come before, and then the implementation would happen. So anything before 1951 could have been a probable answer. So the act must have started in 1948, and that is only and only why in 1951 the first census would have commenced. So 1948 is the answer. Okay, moving on. Which organization launched the Indian Customs Compliance Information Portal for providing free access to information on all customs procedures and regulatory compliance for nearly 12,000 customs tariffs items in the year 2021? See, customs comes under indirect taxes. So simple, CBIC is the answer. Okay, moving on. Who discovered the atomic number based on X-ray wavelength in 1913? So Henry Moseley was the person who discovered relationship between X-ray wavelength and atomic number in 1913. Okay, this is the most sorted or the most relevant thing which was from this entire thing. If you wish to read more, you may pause the video and look at the left. Which subdivision of Himalayas are famous for Kareva formations? Kareva formations. The Kareva formations are famous in the Kashmir Himalayas. Okay, these are lacustrine depositional features formed by the long-term filling of ancient lake beds. Okay, and the Kashmir Valley is formed out of this. The Kashmir Valley is formed out of this. So I hope you understand. And if you wish to read more, you may read from here itself. Okay, we are done with this. Thank you so much for attending. Please come for more such options.